Once the user has entered their user ID and their password, next they would click the Login button. The first page that loads is the dashboard. Your dashboard is your home page that gives you, the user, key metrics or data of different elements of the site functionality. These elements are displayed through a series of iChannel widgets. Each widget is designed to provide different key components throughout iChannel. Widgets and the configuration of widgets is defined by your system administrator. Let's begin by looking at some general navigation of the dashboard. Now, over on the left side, you will notice that there is an identifier with a drop-down. If your organization has configured additional dashboards for you to use, this drop-down will appear and the available dashboards will be listed below. Once you click on one of those dashboards, your page will reload based on the configuration and definition of this dashboard, along with the widgets that were created with it. To simply go back to your default dashboard that your organization made, just simply click on the drop-down arrow and select the default dashboard. Over on the right side, there are two buttons called Edit and Manage. I'll talk about those a little bit more in greater detail towards the end of the video. Next, since your dashboard can be configured with many different widgets, you do have the opportunity as the user where you can hide all dashboards. This would allow you to be able to go over to a dashboard of choice, click on the blue line, and open a single dashboard for ease of use. Simply click on the line again, and that would collapse that dashboard. You also have the ability to show all of your widgets by simply selecting the drop-down arrow. This would open all dashboards with all of the settings that you've set up for the number of information items to appear based on the show numbers you have selected. Now for this exercise, I'm going to go ahead and again, I'm going to hide the dashboard widgets. Now in this exercise, I'm going to take a moment to go through each widget in greater detail so you can learn how each widget collects information throughout the iChannel application. I'm going to begin with the widget called My Sites. Now I'm going to go ahead and click on the blue bar, which would allow me to show information that has been applied to this widget. Now it is important to know that My Sites widget is a widget where you, the user, would identify or rank by a star system your favorite sites that you always want to have on your dashboard. These are your favorites. Anything you said under My Sites would not appear on any other firm user's dashboard. This is a unique area that is set aside just for this individual user. Now let's start over on the far left side, and let's begin by going through each of the available options. Each site that has been identified with a client file area where files can be stored and categorized would have a yellow icon associated to it. This yellow icon would allow you, when you select it, to navigate directly to that site and the site where files are managed and stored by each firm user. Now, to return back to your dashboard, you always would select your company logo, which would be located in the top left corner. This would allow you to return directly back to the dashboard. Now, the next icon that you see here is an information icon. Now, when I select this information icon, this will display in a high overview of 3 areas where information can be stored for this site. It will show the last 10 activities that have been captured on this site. If there's been any discussions, whether those discussions are internal or external, any discussions would be stored here so you can quickly take a view of those discussions. Or you can quickly add discussions on the fly directly from this screen. Now, this window did open in a separate window outside of iChannel, so I would simply just go to that tab in my browser and just click on the X, and that would return me right back to the dashboard. Next, you'll notice that the name of my site, in this case the Boca Raton design, is listed. It is also a hyperlink. Now, when you select the hyperlink, it would navigate you over directly to the client detail page where you would see more information about this site. Again, to return back to your dashboard, click on your company logo in the top left corner. Since the My Site is a unique widget dedicated only to the user who's logged in, this is where you would be able to assign your favorite or the star ranking system for your site. To do that, you simply go back over to the client, click on the client's name, on the client details page, and here's where you can set a star ranking system for that client. Go ahead and click on the logo in the top left corner. You'll navigate back to your dashboard. If for any reason one of your favorites is no longer needs to be in your sites or My Sites, you can simply just remove those stars and they'll disappear. Next, I'm going to click on the My Recent Sites. Now, My Recent Sites is different than My Sites. The My Recent Sites will capture all sites that you have accessed based on a time and date stamp through the Access column. As you can see here, this first site that I have listed will provide me that I accessed this site more than 21 hours ago. And you can see each one is captured by their access point. This can be sorted by selecting the word accent, and you can do ascending or descending to capture that information. One other thing that you can do is if you do have a site that you have been recently working on, and you'll find yourself needing to work on that site more and more as you come into iChannel each and every day, you could take that site from this widget and apply it to My Sites. Once you do that, you'll be able to see that you've set a new favorite on your dashboard. And if that favorite needs to be cleared, just click on the button and that would remove it from the site. Now again, under My Recent Sites, you'll notice that the yellow icon, which represents the client file area, is located next to each site where you plan to receive and store files through a category system. If you happen to notice a site that has been created, but the yellow folder is not created, this site is only used for the CRM portion within iChannel and does not have a file area where any sites could be stored. Again, the same buttons appear where your file area button to be able to quickly jump over and see information about the files or any requested files and submitted files about that client. Navigate back using the icon in the top left corner, you'll go back to that dashboard. And again, each column can be ascended and descended for sorting capabilities. Now again, I'm going to close down My Sites, My Recent Sites. Let's go to My Files. My Files, just like My Sites, is an area where the user can store files under their favorites that will always appear on their dashboard until that user removes the star ranking system from that file. This allows you to be able to keep commonly worked files on your dashboard so you don't have to always navigate to the site using the File Manager icon to look for that file. From here, you can simply begin working on that file using the iFetch tool. When you select on the icon, open it using iFetch, iChannel, and the iFetch application will open the file in its native format directly on your screen. This is called direct mode. You'll learn more about direct mode in iFetch when you cover the iLearning video on how to work in the client file area. You also again see that under the site column you have a quick link that would quickly navigate you back over to the client detail page. You also can see the last time any information about this site has been modified by the modified column area. Now I'm going to go ahead and close down My Sites and My Files, and let's look at My Recent Files. My Recent Files and My Sites are two widgets that work in the same format. My Recent Files is simply going to record based on an access point where you can ascend and descend and sort the information. This is going to give you a list of all the files and the most recent time you had been working on those files. And again, if one of those files that you start to realize under My Recent Files should be a file you want to save under My Files widget, you can simply just start adding the star systems to it, put those files on there, click your refresh button, and those new files would appear under your personal widget called My Files. The last widget that we're going to look at on column 1 of the dashboard is My Assigned Files. My Assigned Files widget allows the user to be able to personally assign a file to themselves or to a coworker for cross collaboration between two individuals. Now, files that are assigned will appear under the My Assigned Files. As you can see here, there is one file from one of our sites called Jeremy and Jennifer Polk, and this file, which was assigned to this user, Bobby Underwood, was assigned by a user called L. Magby. Now, L. Magby can share a file with a user so they can collaborate together. Now, each file that has been assigned to a user does have an expiration date on it. Therefore, when assigned files are assigned to other users, that can be on a limited amount of time before the file is no longer available for the assigned user. Now, I've collapsed my widgets again so that I can now start focusing on the right side, or column 2, so we can review the widgets that have been created. The first widget that I'm going to look at is called My Task. So again, I'll click on the blue bar, which will show me the information associated with my task. Now, this widget is a little bit different than the widgets that we saw in column 1. One of the main differences is that this widget allows you not only to see the task associated to the user who is logged in, but they are able to look across the organization at other firm users and the tasks that have been assigned with them. This is great for collaboration, and it also helps managers understand when they're looking at the dashboard to be able to see coworkers and the number of tasks that might be assigned to that coworker. This would help with allocation of new tasks, reassignment of tasks, and so forth. But here, this allows you to go in. You can select by just selecting a name from the list. You can select as many as you would like. Then let's move over to the second filter that we have here. And this filter would provide the types of statuses that I could have displayed on my widget. Now, in this example, and there could be more based on your organization, but in this example, there are 4. They are in process, not started, not in, and waiting on info. This would allow you to just simply select different options to be able to see where the current tasks are with each of the 3 individuals that was selected. You would click the filter icon, and that would update based on the filters that you have set up. So now you can see the information based on the users. Now, each of the columns here can be sorted, so you can go through and move the columns around and be able to sort ascending to descending. Now, you may at times find a widget that one of the tasks has a red exclamation point to it. That is just to alert the user on the dashboard that that task is past due, and therefore I could reach out to this user, Lacey Demo, and I could reach out to Lacey and find out what needs to be addressed about this widget. It means I could reach out to Lacey Demo just to be able to find out why this task is past due, if there's any help that we can provide to her, or if there's anything that needs to be addressed. One of the other nice things about the widget under My Task is the name of the task appears here as a hot hyperlink. So when you click the hyperlink, you would be able to see that task and how it was set up. If anything about that task or activity needs to be changed or updated, the firm user who has accessed this activity could easily make changes on the fly and save that activity. If for any reason the activity is completed or the activity is deleted, you could complete the activity by putting a check in the box. It would stamp the current date and time, and you can save it just to say that task is completed. Right below the name of the task is the workflow that this task is associated to. So I could, if I wanted to as the user, I could simply go ahead and select the workflow. That would open on my screen the actual workflow and all of the tasks that are listed here. And this would also give the firm user the capability, if they needed to make any changes on the fly while working only on the dashboard and not accessing the workflow module. Instead, they can make any necessary changes, update any of the fields that are available for them, make the save on that, and that would close the workflow back down. Also, I have an opportunity, as always. The yellow folder just allows me to very quickly, just from the dashboard while I'm working on task, I can very quickly just run right over to the client file area and make any updates or changes as necessary. I'll go ahead and click back on my company logo, which takes me always back to my dashboard. So again, you get to see information that is unique to about that task that you're looking at. We also have a report that's associated to the task. So the information that you set up by the number of assigned and the number of statuses that you would like to look for, you can run a quick report and get information about that report on the statuses that are on your dashboard widget. As you can see by clicking that report, I would bring back information in a spreadsheet. That information can be saved or exported out to Excel if need be. Next, I'm going to go ahead and click on My Workflows. Now, My Workflows allows me to be able to see the statuses just like I could in my task. It allows me to see the status and the progress of where my workflows are. Again, if any workflow is currently past due, I would get the red indicator letting me know that this task is past due. I also could get a green indication that says this workflow is currently being worked or it is in progress, or the workflow has been completed. Now, what makes this one just a little bit different than my task is yes, I do have the name of the workflow, and I also have the name of the site. So I do know at any time where I see a hyperlink, that allows me to click the hyperlink, see that workflow in greater detail. And again, I never needed to move over to the workflow module to be able to work on this workflow from the dashboard. In addition, in the order column, I'm able to click the plus sign and I can see all of the workflows tasks that have been assigned to it by the name of the task, its classified, type, status, assigned, and due. And again, we always know that anytime we see information in one of the columns and we hover over it and it's a hyperlink, that allows me to see that information in greater detail. So again, this just opened up that activity on a new window. I'll close that window down and return. You can also see that the task is assigned to one of my clients, in this case, Harriet Boca. I could click that information and I could see information or detailed information about this contact, Harriet Boca. So the widgets and the dashboard are designed to alert you very quickly about information that is happening within the iChannel software program. And you can quickly make decisions to work on the fly on the dashboard on a series of different widgets that will provide you with information. Again, we have unique filters that can be applied just like the filters that can be applied under My Task and also under Statuses. This one would allow you to be able to search for workflows where a firm user has been identified as the primary owner of that workflow. Maybe you want to search for the workflows where there is a secondary individual who has been assigned to that workflow. You also have the capability to set up both. And again, in the drop down, you could then go in, start selecting individuals, and to have information about those individuals brought back on your dashboard. This would allow me to see not only the workflows where Lacey Magby and Bobby Underwood both appear as primary or secondary or either or, it would bring back all of the workflows where our names appear. And again, we could bring back based on a series of statuses that would allow us to be able to look for those workflows. Click on the filter button, and you'll see here I'm getting a combination of not only the workflows for the user I'm signed in as, but I also get to see one of my co-workers' workflows at the time. This is a great widget for any manager who is looking at the workflows that their teammates are working on. Be able to look at them in greater detail to see how many have been complete or if there are any outstanding. This is a great way for the manager or director to be able to reassign any tasks that are associated to a workflow, or even update the workflow from a primary individual to another primary individual. So this workflow allows me to see not only the workflow and be able to work on the workflow directly and be able to go directly to the client contact detail page, or I can be able to look at individual tasks on the fly as needed. By selecting the minus button, that will simply collapse that on your screen. And again, each of these are able to be sorted. You can just click on any column and that will move that around for you and allow you to sort that, and that'll allow you to be able to sort any of the columns. Another feature that is provided right here on the My Workflow widget is you are provided with the capability, if granted with this permission, to be able to copy a workflow from the widget and make another workflow with the same details that have been set up on the original workflow. And again, we also provide you with a report about the workflows that are located here on the widget. So if you click that, you would be able to see the workflows that have been assigned in greater detail for the individuals where they are primary or secondary individuals. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to collapse my task, my workflows, and I'm going to go ahead and look at the My Deliverables. The My Deliverables is where, as you're working on your workflows, this is when you are doing the deliverables of submitting that workflow or submitting the filing of those taxes to the agencies. So this again allows me to be able to look at the deliverables not only for the user I'm signed in for, but across other coworkers as needed. Be able to look at the statuses of those deliverables, where they may be in the life cycle of how the deliverables are working. And again, I can go ahead and select, in this case, this is Buddy's 1040 tax return. If I select that, it will open up for me. Then I'll be able to go to the details page. This is where I can see my deliverable information here. So if I need to add an extension or do any deliverable updates to my workflow, I can from this screen. My contacts. My contacts, just like my sites and my files, is an area for you to set your favorites on your dashboard that are unique to you and only you about the contacts that you want to always have on your dashboard. Now these contacts will stay on the dashboard as long as they have a ranking system. If for any reason you have contacts on here and no longer need that contact, you simply use the negative star button. That will remove the contacts. Again, this is personal preference. This is your favorites, and so you can set up contacts if you would like to. My calendar activities, this would allow you to see any activities throughout iChannel where you have set up an activity where you, this user, in this case Bobby Underwood, has been attached to a calendar activity. Now that calendar activity could be a meeting, it could be a task, it could be a call, it could be a new workflow task. All calendar activities you can store, and then you can see the information about that individual by selecting information that you're looking for. Hit a filter, and if there's any information, it will appear back. In this exercise, we had an opportunity to be able to look at our individual widgets in detail so that you can learn all of the functions and the capabilities about these widgets. Remember, your IT system administrator for iChannel will determine what is the system default dashboard for each user across the organization. In this exercise, we'll take an opportunity to review the Edit and the Manage dashboards features. The Edit and the Manage features are controlled by your iChannel system administrator and may not be enabled for all users. In earlier exercises, we took an opportunity to review in detail each widget and how each widget collects data throughout iChannel. Now, these widgets that are located on the current dashboard, which is all, is defined by a series of widgets on the left side, or column 1, and a series of widgets that are on the right side, or column 2. If you've been granted the permission to be able to make edits to the current dashboard on your screen, you can add or remove widgets on your dashboard. By selecting the Edit button, which will open up our editor, you will see the current defined dashboard that is on your screen. The name of the dashboard appears in the first field. Now, we know that we have 2 columns on our dashboard because the number of columns is listed as 2, and we see the number of widgets that are listed in column 1, or the left side, and the column on the right side for our widgets. Now, if a user would like to make changes to their widgets that are listed in each of the columns, the users have the capability to reorganize their widgets. Just simply click on a widget, hold down the left side of your mouse, and move that widget up and down until you have reorganized your widgets to your preference. Now, it is worth noting that widgets can be moved up and down in the column that they're assigned to, but widgets cannot be moved from column 1 to column 2. Widgets are only able to be moved up and down in the column that they're applied to. Now, for any reason you would like to move a widget from column 1 to column 2, first the user would simply remove the widget from the column they do not want that widget to appear in. Then they would need to move back up to the line where you can select a module. In this case here, our contacts, or my contacts, are listed under the CRM widget. And the number 6 displays the number of widgets that are associated to the CRM. Next, move down to the widget line. Find the new widget you would like to add. And then in this scenario, we'll be adding that widget to the right side of our screen. So we'll click Add Widgets. And again, if you would like, you can reorder the widgets to your preference if need be. Once you've made the change and you've decided that this is the new look of the widgets that you would like on your dashboard, just simply click Save. You'll get confirmation that the widgets have been saved. Then you can move back over to see those changes applied. And now you can see that I've added my contacts to the right side of the screen. Now let's look at this in more detail. What if you would like to have your dashboard be 3 columns wide? So I'll click Edit again. I'll move this over to 3. As you can see, I now have a new column where I can add widgets. And again, the process is to go in, select a module, select a widget, and add that widget. You'll notice here I tried to add a widget that is already assigned to an existing dashboard. And remember, to be able to get a widget from one column to the next column, it first must be removed from the column that it is currently defined. Now that I've removed it, I can take my widget and I can add it to column 3. Click Save. I get confirmation. Then click on your dashboard icon, and as you can see now, I have a total of 3 columns defined by using the Edit button. Now let's take an opportunity to look at Manage Dashboards. Now, Manage Dashboards will be controlled by your system administrator for iChannel. This is where dashboards can be created and assigned to different security groups within iChannel. As you can see under the Edit Dashboard, these are dashboards that have been created by your iChannel system administrator where they've granted out the edit capability for the user. Next, I'll highlight the widgets. This is the number of defined widgets that come standard with iChannel. Some organizations may take an opportunity to create a custom widget. Your iChannel implementation team will work with your iChannel system administrator to determine the number of dashboards and whether they are assigned or edit dashboards for the user. Thank you for watching this How to Access and Navigate the iChannel Dashboard.